We built a model railroad from scratch and we will have our dream landscape in no time. By now it already looks very urban. The train station of our small village landscape is finished. We have started to build this train station from Faller in the last episode. Let me show you how it's supposed to look when it's finished. Here it is. It's the Bavarian train station of Weißenbach. That's the one we have started to build. I have continued to work on this train station on my own since the last episode. And for this episode I promised you we will work on the interior lighting and the house illumination. I've prepared this. That's the house illumination starter set by Fissmann. Here you can see these little plastic boxes. That's the way they look like. You break out these boxes from the frame and then you install such a small LED into it. We will have a closer look at that in a few moments. But before we do that, we will finish the rest of the train station, which is right in front of me. We have almost finished the instruction manual. We have inserted all the windows and we built the chimney. Well, I built it. You were watching, of course. We are now almost ready to mount the train station on the system. I've prepared some stuff for the illumination. I left the building open at the top, and this is still open. So that way we can easily reach every corner. And I have drilled a hole in the base plate. I will pull my wires through that hole later on. I finished building the train station platform. Only a few details are still missing. We still need a ramp here at the side. We will add that right now. So then that's also finished. I've organized such tongs. That way I can clamp the parts while I'm doing something different. Now let's quickly glue the ramp to the side. As I said, that's a train station by Faller, but you can find very nice train stations from other manufacturers as well, namely Kibri, Vollmer, Auhagen and also from Noch. There is a huge selection for the model building fan. The train station is, of course, the most important building at the beginning. I will glue the stairs one more time, they are still a bit loose. I will use my clamp now to make sure these parts hold tight. Let's turn it around and clamp this right here. Seems like this part is too small, the clamp does not hold. I simply use my hands for a moment. I used the clamp for the big parts here at the front. I was able to clamp it tight. One piece is still missing, here at the side, the finishing edge of the stairway. Apply a tiny amount of glue here and there. Now we attach it and we hold it tight for a few moments. You get the best results if you don't moderate YouTube episodes in the meanwhile. Alright, I'll place it over there, that should be set in a few seconds. Now we will take care of the banisters. I was looking for that before the show. As I said, I have drilled that hole for my wires, which I need for the house illumination. I've also installed 2 Märklin distribution strips. I want to add a lot of illumination to the train station, and with the distribution strips I can install up to 10 LED lights. And my idea for the train station is the following. I want the station concourse to be completely illuminated with maybe 1, 2 or 3 LEDs. And on the other floors I only want individual windows to be illuminated and not all of them. We want to put this idea into action now. For this I have something prepared. Here you can see this carton. It is included in the Faller building kit. And this carton is absolutely pitch black. No light whatsoever should shine through this carton. If you place a light inside, like a torchlight or your cell phone lamp, the light would only shine through the white parts. So only these windows and the gray parts down here would be illuminated. That's what I have prepared. I simply glued some of these plastic boxes in there and I have already installed these small LED lamps. We can now insert the whole thing in the train station. But first we have to pull the wires through. I want to show you step by step what I did. First I took these parts here, that's the house illumination starter set. I'll place it here for you to see. It comes with these little LEDs and they can easily be installed on top of these plastic boxes. You can also buy this here, you find it in different colors, like yellow and white. I took a yellow wire and LED light. Now we take one of these plastic boxes and we click this LED into the box. We want to have the LED in the front. Here you can see it, the little LED light is shining. Now we click this into it and we pull the wire through the middle. Here on the side we can snap it into place. This is quite simple. If you don't hear a click noise, that's also fine. Only thing that is important is that no light should shine through. We pull the yellow wire backwards, and we do the same with the brown wire. Usually, the illumination in a room is on the ceiling, so we make sure that the LED is on the top here at the side. Make sure that no wires cover the LED. And now we can take this box and glue it into this black carton. There are already some lights in there. We will check where we have room for that light, where it shines through, and then I can glue it on the side. We will leave this be for now. I'll put it aside for now. But I'll need it again for another setup later on. I'll put these wires through here and I'll decide how I'm going to lay these wires. I'm already having wire spaghetti. Let's see how wrong I can do this to get a hold of these wires. I'll connect a plug to these wires first. The plugs are heavy and they will fall down. That will make it easier for me. I'll need brown and yellow plugs. These are common Märklin plugs that we are using. That's the right size screwdriver, and now I'll add some brown and yellow plugs. After that, I can connect my LED lights to the distribution strips. I hope you can see everything all right. I cannot really tell it right now, but it should be okay. I finished the brown plugs first. By the way, if you have any questions about model railroad building, feel free to ask them in the commentaries. We will answer all your questions in the commentaries in this series. I cannot interact much with you since I am very busy with crafting right now, but after the show I'll have a look at the questions and other colleagues from Märklin will read along too and answer the questions too. So we make sure nothing will be left unanswered. Well, what have we done so far in the last couple of episodes? What did you miss? Feel free to watch the series from the start. We have started setting up the base plate with an ICE2 starter set. The set contains everything you need, a lot of tracks, 2 curved turnouts, and of course the mobile station, the digital control unit. We also used an ICE extension set. It contains a dining car for the ICE and also a lot of important tracks fitting perfectly to my track plan. We have used a railroad system by the manufacturer Noch. That's a manufacturer for model railroad supply. It contains wooden roots which are already cut to fit. You can easily install them on your base plate. Same as with the track plan. I'll show it to you. That's what it looks like. That's the railroad route system. I laid out the parts according to the plan and then I've laid out the tracks on top. Here's also more than enough room for my train station, and that's exactly what we're working on right now. That's what you could see during the last episodes. We placed a train driver in the ICE and we have also tried out building a railroad crossing. You can see all of this again in the last few episodes. And what's still ahead of us is building signals. We only built one signal so far for just trying it out. That's what we still have to do. And what I also planned is to build an uncoupling track. Or to put a train on the tracks that has a coupling that automatically couples and uncouples. That's also something you can control with the mobile station. The train can then leave as wagons in a designated area. So a lot of things we still want to accomplish. Luckily, we do have enough time left. The next big topic is landscaping. We want to build a mountain on our model railroad system, or maybe something like a bridge or something similar. We do have many ideas and I'm sure we will have enough time to finish quite a lot of our major project. But at the same time, we at Märklin wanted to do this show as a live tutorial, to give you the chance to craft along on your own in real time, or at least catch up until the next episode. We need a few more yellow wires. You see, some things repeat over time. By the way, after the 5th wire or so, you know how it is done. And in no time, you will become a model railroad professional. Even if you are just starting again. Now we install the last LEDs and I really want to prevent tangled cables. We have talked about preventing tangled cables when we built the ring circuit for the track current and the lighting current. You can either use luster terminals where you can neatly pull the wires through, or you use shrink tubing. By the way, the wires can be neatly sorted in place in a 90-degree angle. You can see it right here. We have worked with shrink tubing here. That way you can manage the huge number of wires and you can prevent tangled cables. You can also use plugs. You can plug several of them together. With the plugs you can also extend the cables or merge them using a distribution strip. That way you can connect several light wires to one lighting transformer. We do need a light transformer, we have talked about that in one of our last episodes. We are using one by Falle now, but we may also well take one by Fissmann or Märklin. That would work also. That way you can separate the track current from the lighting current and thus enhancing the overall power supply. This is the last yellow cable. We are almost finished. Last yellow plug and we can put together the whole building. Also important, we have to mark where exactly we want the train station or stand later on. I did not really do that so far. I did not plan too much. I wanted to leave some room to allow some free play. With the plugs, the wires are heavier and fall downwards, and now we simply let the slide into the house. Everything is working fine so far. Let's check if we need to fix anything. Something is still stuck on the doors. The doors can also be opened, and that way light can shine through the doors as well. Everything fits together now and it is looking good. We can start connecting everything now. We bring brown to one side and yellow over to the other side. All the brown wires will be connected here and all the yellow wires will be connected to the other side. We do it the right way around to prevent tangled cables. Brown is connected to the distribution strip and yellow will be connected to the other distribution strip. I will move the wires accordingly. If you have some wire spaghetti inside the house, is not a big deal. You cannot see the wires in the house afterwards, since I'm using the black curtain. If you don't use the black curtain, you might be able to see those chaos if you look really close. And of course, we do not want any figures to trip over the wires. That's why I get these wires in order. That's looking good. I hope you can see everything all right. It is very tight in here, but we are done so far. Now I have to connect the distribution strip to the light transformer so that my train station can shine. I did not do anything with the station concourse. I would have to install additional lights in it. I want to try out the upper floors beforehand to check how it works and looks before I build a more complicated construction in the station concourse. Everything looks good so far. Good thing I did not glue everything because I have to move the distribution strip a little bit to give it more room. That way I can move things a little bit. Well, it worked and it is looking good. I could glue it on now, but I will wait a little bit longer for that until everything else is finished. These parts are also dry, so I can lift the whole thing and see what it looks like from below. I have drilled the holes, now I can pull the brown and yellow wires over to the light current. So let's make some room for that. I want to run the cables over there. That's where my wires run over to those distribution strips where I can connect more light wires. We need brown and yellow wire now. Let's decide where we want the train station to be standing. Where does it look good? We have to finally decide where it should be standing. I prefer the position in the middle. I think that looks best. Now I need the platform. I guess it will go right here. We have a turnout here. A train could move onto that track. For the longer train, like the ICE, we need a longer track. So we do need a second platform over here. A smaller train could easily hold here, maybe not on the turnout through. I would say I create a terminal station or something like that. That could look nice, but we have to make sure that our passengers will not fall off the cliffs when they walk down the stairs. We have to plan something here. Maybe we can build a small ramp or something like that. I'll move it just a little bit, that way we have room on all sides. The train station should not be too close to the tracks as well. That's why we should fix this track right now. The track is still way too loose, so let's take some screws and screw this track in place temporarily. In the middle of the track is a tiny hole for a screw. I will use my screwdriver and pierce through there now. Now I can use this screw and screw that track to the ground. That way everything will stay in position for now. I'll have to use this screwdriver for the job. When you screw a track to the ground, a firm ground is usually better. Sadly, that's not the case here. I have very soft wood here. But it is okay, the screw holds without any problems. Make sure you screw in the complete screw. If something sticks out and your train passes over it, it might destroy the grinder of your locomotive. That's no fun for the locomotive, and we don't want that to happen. The track is fixed, and now we can start to position our platform. I recommend to actually use a wagon to measure how close a wagon can come to the platform. I randomly choose one from this glass cabinet. I have a wagon here, let's check that out. I randomly choose one from the glass cabinet. This wagon here, let's check that out. That would fit in size and would look very nice. Let's switch to the other camera. Let's see, here is the bumper. I guess the whole thing can come closer. We have to be careful here with this ramp. The ramp at the side goes down. Because of that, I cannot come close. This ramp piece is the crucial one. It will decide how close we can come. I will position the platform like this. I'll get a pencil and mark the position of the platform. I want the platform to be exactly parallel to the tracks. Let's mark it neatly. I mark here and there, that's the position for the station concourse. We said we wanted to leave a little space, so I'll mark that real quick. Ideally, I'll glue it right away. That way, I only have one kit instead of two. And then I only have to mark once. So let's do that right now. Of course, I already did all the wiring. That might not be such a good idea. Let's take this one. It is open on both sides, so it will not be wired. I will not glue it. I will mark it separately. At least we know where our platform and our train station will go. Let's see where the hole is for our interior lighting. I'll mark that quickly. With the thinner one, we can mark it. We take that down briefly and then we will drill a small hole here to pull our wire through. Let's see how far we will get in this episode. That's looking good. Let's grind it down a little bit. Now we take a yellow wire and we put that through here. Here's perfect. Let's see how long we need it. We pull that wire through this available shrink tubing here with a yellow wire already in there. The shrink tubing is quite tight, but we will get both cables through. That way everything will be tidy, and then we can pull the wires through that shrink tubing over there as well. I'm very pleased about how tidy everything is. I practiced this on another system and it all looked messy then, but by now everything is nice and neat. Now we use the crimping pliers. First we peel off the insulation and then we add the plug. You might ask if the power is turned off or not. I will turn off the power on the system now. The turnout lanterns indicate that the power is off, since they do not shine. We don't have high voltage on our system, but it is always recommended to turn off the power when you are working with electricity. We simply turn off the transformer. The yellow plug goes to this distribution strip. I'll show you in the camera. That's a regular distribution strip. I am plugging the yellow plug in there. Next, we add a brown wire with a brown plug. And we lay it out in the same manner as we did with the other wire. It is the exact same principle. And remember, always use colors yellow and brown for lighting. And red and brown is for the track current. Brown is the ground and red stands for the track current, abbreviated with the letter B. If you always remember that, you will be well organized. You always know that yellow is for your lighting and red-brown is for your train, which receives current from different feeds from all around the system. That way it will run smooth and fast and doesn't have to slow down anywhere or won't go up the mountain because of lack of current. I'm trying to get this cable through here as well. It is pretty tight by now. It doesn't go through there. I've learned for the next time that I'll use thicker tubing. That way I can fit through more wires, but luckily I was able to put through the last wire. But that was the last wire for sure. For the next wire, I need a second cable duct, but that's no problem. The shrink tubing is very cheap and easy to glue on with the hot glue gun. Alright, we have finished that and everything is connected. Our distribution strip is on a distribution strip. Let's get this wire a bit shorter. Looking good. The length is okay as well. I will leave the wires this long. I won't need them any longer. I can't hide the rest inside the house and in the distribution strip. Let's use the crimping tool again. That's the main reason why I turned off the power before. The risk of those two wires touching is very high, and that would result a short circuit. To prevent that, I turned off the Faller transformer to make sure the transformer will not complain about the chaos. I'm working on this wire here. Instead of using the distribution strips, you can also connect your plugs with plugs. Which way doesn't matter, but with the plugs it will become confusing over time. You can always connect a plug to another plug through the two connection holes. I will show you in a second. You can connect a second plug to this plug here. You can plug another plug into that plug, and so on and so on. And soon you will have no idea what is connected through all these plugs. That works, but that's not ideal in terms of clarity. If you run out of distribution strips, you could do that. But I really recommend using distribution strips. That makes it a lot easier for you and everything is tidy. We are getting closer to our big final, the lighting of our train station. That would be a classic situation if I'm done with all the wiring and the hole would not be big enough. Let's try and hope to see whether it will fit or not. And of course, the hole is not big enough. That was not planned, right? Where's my screwdriver? There it is. Instead of plugs, you could work with a soldering iron as well. If you really want to do that, some people say, hey, I'll take my solder bar and do that. You can also buy conducting paint, so there is a lot of cool and fancy stuff. As a beginner, prefer working with plugs because you can easily remove anything that has a plug. If you have soldered something, then it will hold for a while. Now we connect the yellow wire to the distribution strip. Good thing that the wire is long enough because the plug is way back there. We wanted to pull it over here to the side. Don't worry if the wires are too short, you could easily extend the wires with a socket and a second wire. This is fiddly work, but that is simply part of the model making if you ask me. And you can easily hide all of your mistakes and unsightly work inside the train station building. You won't notice tangled cables either. Well, everything is in place. The light might be too bright down here in the model building basement. I turned on all the lights so that you can see everything clear, but maybe it is too bright now and you might not see the illumination. So let's place the building on top and then we see whether the lights are on or not. It fits on there nicely. Now I can provisionally put the roof on it and then I'll check if I can see any lights. I don't see any kind of illumination so far. Let's check if everything is connected correctly. As I said before, I need a small LED for my experiment. Let's see if they shine. I'll connect the brown here and the yellow wire there, and we can see that there is no current. That means I did something wrong with the wiring. There is probably one of these wires loose, and I'm confident that I will find the source of error quickly. It is either this one here or that one. That's typically. Actually, I simply wanted to briefly connect this here. On the other hand, it's nice that mistakes happen because I'm anything but a professional and that it's supposed to be fun too. And it is good to see that even on a YouTube channel of Märklin, mistakes happen. You see, it does not have to work right away, just stick with this. I turn off the power when I work with these wires again. I'll check every connection now and make sure everything is correct. Something is still not right. These wires here look okay. Sometimes the distance is too high or the plug sits loosely. Like this one here, it was loose. That might have been our problem. Maybe I did not screw that tight enough and the wire was not connected properly to the plug. Let's test it again. Everything is connected and we turn on the power. The turnout lanterns are shining, I can see that. That means this LED should shine too. It does not shine. That means the source of error is back there. I'm pleased that our troubleshooting has been successful. I'll connect a plug to the light to see if it shines or not. I don't have to turn off the power now when I work on this light. I'm not working with electricity. Now a brown plug as well. As you can see, I have some difficulties getting the illumination started. But that's not a problem. You can learn from that it makes no sense to connect a complete distribution strip and then check all over the distribution strip whether you have current or not. I would have been much smarter to start with the wire coming from the ring circuit and check whether it has current there or it has no current. Or if it has no current. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'll connect this LED back there, and if it lights up, then we have current there. So let's try it out, and we will see there is no current. Maybe the LED is broken, or it is polarized the wrong way around. Let's check that out. And yes, that's the reason. We need a polarization. That's the wrong way around. I did the wiring correct. Brown is brown and yellow is yellow, but I connected to the transformer the wrong way around. Let's turn that off. It doesn't make a difference to some lamps. Our Märklin turnout lanterns doesn't care which way it is connected, but our Fissmann LED does care indeed. So we turn off the transformer and then we switch the two colors. So brown goes to this one and yellow goes to that one. For you in detail, my brown wire will be connected to positive and the yellow wire to negative. Now we turn the transformer back on and look here, our train station lights up. Look at the windows, how they are shining. I think you should be able to see that in some extent. I'll turn down the lights. Let's turn it off completely. Now you can see how the lights are shining. We can glue the whole thing and close it. In one of our next episodes, I want to turn the lighting on and off using the mobile station. Let's turn the lights back on. We want to be able to control the illumination with the mobile station using the exact same function you use to work the turnouts. Then we can turn the lights in the train station on and off. So that's all from this episode about interior lighting. Let's sum it up. I have started with this house illumination starter set by Fissmann. Together with such small LEDs, you can buy these LEDs, for example, from Faller, Fissmann or Brava, a large assortment from different manufacturers. I have installed that in this train station by Faller, which will be glued on in just a second. To prevent chaos and tangled cables, I've used two distribution strips. I will attach them to the ground as well. I can close the building and I'll fix that now. I will do that until our next video. In the next episode, we will check out what we could build next. Maybe we will start with the mountains or we will install signals. I'll think of something until the next time. Take care and have fun crafting it yourself. And after all that crafting, I've earned a test drive now.